Hello, I'm back. Um, yeah, the dice and stuff can stay there. I thought I would do a little video on how the new environment is, maybe how the plants are doing in the new environment. That's the better way of stating it. So how are the new plants? Ah. I really should do some editing, but I probably won't. So, how are the plants doing in the new environment? Okay, well, I think they're doing quite a bit better. Um, Here's not the newest plant. You'll have to forgive that little bit of cardboard. There's still an echo of the last person that lived in this bedroom, really. I can't get any further back than about this because there's a bed there. So yeah, there's every now and then there's a little bit of an echo of the last person that stayed in here. But that's fine. It is what it is. So there is the last one to come over, and it's no different than like this one. It's just there's three in that pot. So there's that, and then the humidifier on the water bottle. It always seems to find a way into the video, doesn't it? So there's that one. Like I say, it's the most recent to come over, so it is what it is. It's only been here for, I don't know, 3 or 4 days. The purple passion, I think, has started to grow. Its purple hue hasn't changed much. It might have lightened. I think these lights up above, I'm not gonna put your eyes in the miniature suns, but there's, I think, about 7 lights up there, and I think they're influencing the plants. Like this one used to come over yonder, but it's, poked straight up. It's gonna head toward the ceiling like this other one. So we will see how that goes. They might be lightening a tinge. I'm not sure. I kind of have an artist's eye for shades, and to me they seem to be lightening a little bit. If you've watched a video or two of mine, sometimes I'll say, this plant is doing better than the video shows, or, sometimes the camera likes this plant and it's not really doing that good. Yeah. My eye is, well, most people's eyes are better than electronic eyes, I guess you could say. But they seem to be looking upward, really. Keep looking up, as Neil deGrasse Tyson says. They are. They listen to the man. Here's a good, it's not up against the wall, and it's short enough I can get up over it, versus trying to get up over. My arms are way above. Oh, that hurts a little bit. I just got my poke in the arm yesterday, so when I extended my arm, it reminded me. So they're doing better, I think. A couple are in the fridge, right in the refrigerator. And then there's Salt Creep. I do put salt in the tank. not sea levels, nowhere near sea levels. I mean, seawater kills plants. But the artificial marine aquarium salt does have a lot of good things. And when you figure pretty much all life initially came from the sea, some even said, I don't like this land business, and went back to the sea. Elephants in the form of manatees, that type of thing. So, yeah, it's got all the nutrients they could ever want, just not in marine levels. Kind of like you need food every day, you don't need 20 pounds of food every day. That would not end too well. So, everybody seems to be doing better. I do notice that this one here, pretty clear, it's turning yellow. Yeah, that very tip feels very dead. Very dead. I don't know if that is the lack of feed, the extreme change. Not quite sure what that is. Like this one here. It's got, at least it appears to have new tips. Maybe it changed its mind. This little short one, where is it? Right there, there's a little short one. I'm holding the plant with one hand and the phone is in the other. But, yeah, it's got a new tip on that little short one. There's a short one behind, or in front of, rather, those two tall ones. It has a growing tip that you can't quite see. Anyway, it has a growing tip, but it's also got some sad-looking leaves. Yeah, some sad-looking leaves. Even its newer leaves are not looking good. That could be cold damage. I kind of thought that the 70-degree water when things got cold might have saved it, and it may have. Like I said, the one that is under the roses wasn't getting the benefit, not until it was already too late. It did get a bath or two in the tank, but it was already too late. These have held on longer. This one is now doing the worst, as you can see. The cold damage seems to have gotten to it. Took it a while to show, but it is showing now. Yeah, it's showing now. We will see if this one will survive. I don't know. Things are not looking good for this one. And that's kind of sad because I believe this one is the other white one. I think that one there sitting on top is a white one. And I think this is a white one. The two in the tank are purple. Well, the one I know is purple, with its leaf sitting up here on the edge. I think the other one is purple. And I'm not sure about this one that looks like it wants to be a Vanda. I don't remember what color that one is. This one, the emergency fowl that had quite the problem, is like a solid purple, a light solid purple. The other one, it's kind of hard to tell where the bamboo stops and where the other orchid starts, but I think that is like a purple with stripes. And this one, I haven't got a clue. I do not remember what color variant that is. No clue. I can quit holding that. Yeah, it just kind of velcros itself to the tank. But other than that extreme, I think everybody else, the other one in there's got a couple of leaves that are not going to make it. But I think that they're adjusting pretty good. Like that one is doing just fine. I cannot remember what those are called. This one is doing just fine. I got a pot full of them. And I thought, well, I want one, but these are like a tree. They get absolutely enormous. And it's like a Buddha belly palm might be the name of it. But they get like a fat base on them. And I always wanted one since I seen one, I think it was about 30 years old. And it had this big round base. It was taking up an entire pot that size. That looks like an 8 to a 10-inch pot. And the bulbous part of it was covering most of the pot. You need like a watering can to get into the edges to water the thing. And I thought, I'm going to have me one of them. And I seen a pot full of these little babies. Kind of looked more like that, only the other two were in there. So I bought it, and I thought, well, I'll separate it out. Well, I left the 3. The idea is, sometime down the road, I'm going to sell 2 of these. At some point, that bunch of 3 will probably sell. Probably keep this one for myself. And sell this one. I don't know. That's 20, 30... I don't know if I'll make it another 40 years, but that's kind of the plan for them, depending on how fast they grow, which isn't all that fast. These plants, these old trees, I guess I'll refer to them as, they're older than the channel. I know they haven't always been in videos, but neither have the Oscars. Okay, No Name made a few videos before he went. But the other one, on the other side of the old grow room, he's still swimming around doing just fine. No new videos of him. I may put him in some videos when he gets moved over here. He may make a reappearance. But that place was kind of embarrassing. Looked more like a storage shed than a place where anybody lived. And fish tanks have a tendency, not that this one's doing it at the moment, but fish tanks have a tendency to have all these reflections. And so much would reflect off the tank, and you could see things that you didn't need to see, that I just didn't film them very much. Like I say, this tank is not doing it. Of course, it doesn't have that black background that Owl's tank has. Yeah, really turned it into a mirror. So maybe when the tank gets moved over here and he gets moved over, you may see some more of him. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. For now, him and the tortoise, another one you haven't seen, um, they still live over there, and I go over and feed them and take care of them, but they haven't made the move yet. That's how recent this move is, in a sense. Okay, so I think I've showed everybody. Did a bit of rambling, just kind of going off on different tangents. I guess the last one, I'm not going to show the whole plant because it's got some plant decomposing in the pot, and it just doesn't really look nice. There's a little bit of it. It snuck in, but that, can't really see it yet. I was seeing if you could, but can't really see it. Looks like a bloom. So the first bloom may be the cactus. Not that cactus, but the other cactus back there. Might be the first to bloom in this environment. Haven't seen a bloom spike on anybody else. With the exception of that. But I've noticed in this experiment, this kind of ongoing experiment with bloom spikes, once they've stopped blooming, and I don't know, you can try to prove me wrong, Rick L., his channel has stayed up. He seems to no longer be recording, but his channel stayed up, and he kind of got on this wagon with me about not necessarily cutting your bloom spikes back. You might be able to find on there old bloom spikes blooming like year after year, but I don't think so. I don't think so. He was really good with the multiple spikes on plants, like 3, 4, and 5. 3, 4, and 5 spikes on a plant, not this 1 and 2 nonsense that most of us can accomplish. His plants really went wild with the blooming environment. I think it all goes back to environment. In the summer, he could take them outside into his little shade houses. Second one wasn't quite so small. But then in the winter, he had a nice protected area where he could bring them in and they would do just fine. If he had to take a break and couldn't take care of them, his lovely wife would, step in and pick up the slack. So, yeah, lots of Phalaenopsis blooms among other blooms. I am, making a new road to the point where I haven't succeeded yet with anything but Phalaenopsis and other houseplants. A lot of houseplants like this aquarium thing. I don't think too many people put marine aquarium salt into their freshwater aquariums. But, yeah, my saltwater tank seemed to suggest that you should. And by that, I had the saltwater tank that Alla's now in on the other side of the grow room. The tank you really didn't see much of. So that had my saltwater fish in it. And then the other tank that was the staple, both when it had an Oscar and well after, it had the Oscar. And I was watering all of the plants out of that Oscar tank. The orchids and everybody else. The spider plant, airplane plant that doesn't live back here. The Dracaena that doesn't live back here. Both of those are older than the channel. They were around, the Dracaena and the spider plant were around when I had that saltwater tank. They did better. The banana, not so much, but that's a different story. You know, everybody seemed to perk up after that saltwater tank came in. Well, I had to think about it for a while, but I realized that I would do the water change on the salt water. I would make new water in this orange bucket. That orange bucket right there. I would mix up the salt water. And I would pour it into the saltwater tank. And then, when the saltwater tank was done, I would go over and I would do my water change on the Oscar tank. Well, when that tank was emptied, kind of rinsed out the bucket a little bit, but I think some of the salt water ended up going into the tank on the refill. Because I used the same Python on both tanks, that same bucket, all the equipment that was used to do the water change on the salt water was used to do the water change on the other 55. And I think some of the minerals, or some of the salt and those minerals, got into the 55. So now I'm just trying to figure out what levels would be good. And I noticed that by not keeping track of when salt was going in, that wasn't really doing it. So now, the first salt dose this tank has ever gotten is recorded on the laptop. It is also recorded on the phone here via YouTube and on that tablet. Things can go wrong with electronics. So it's recorded on 2 electronic devices. One quite reliable because while there's a lot of videos on this phone, they've all gone to YouTube. And YouTube is very reliable. Laptops? Not so much. Not as reliable as YouTube, at least. Notepads? Well, as long as you don't lose the notepad, you're golden on that front, aren't you? So, more reliable recording method. I don't know. Well, I don't know. I'm really bad at this recording information. But most all the recordings, I think, are on YouTube. Because that one's kind of easy. That's a big part of why this channel exists. Is it's a fun way to record my progress. And it's one that I kind of sort of actually do. So yeah, that's a big part of why I'm on YouTube. YouTube is also rather reliable on keeping information. So there's that. And there's a social aspect that you, of course, get out of it. The whole subscribers and commenting thing. So, and I would like it to be like a family channel where I could put, made for kids. Because it's not that it's not made for kids. It's just that if I understand it right, if you put made for kids, they take away the comment section. Very understandable as to why, and I have to admit, I kind of agree with that. But I like the comment section. So I just, make my videos not made for kids. Not that if you have kids, they can't watch with you. I remember being into plants. Yeah, forever. Forever I've been into plants. I don't remember a time not knowing what a seed was, not knowing how seeds worked. I don't remember a time when plants weren't in my life. I can remember a short period when fish were not in my life. But plants is the oldest of my 3 hobbies. It goes plants, fish, and the game of chess. So those are my 3 oldest hobbies anyway. And I think I've covered everything. Got quite a lot of rambling, but I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover. The main topic being, how are the plants doing in this new environment? I think quite well. Yes, there's some die-off. I think they're responding to the change, the stress of getting too cold. But I think that nobody else is going to die. This one hanging off the front, admittedly, is scary, but I think it'll be okay. I hope it'll be okay. I don't think we're going to have any more complete casualties. Not in relation to the cold temperatures and this. For one thing, it's getting to be springtime. My daffodils are coming up. I've seen some yellow from daffodils that are further along than mine. So, spring is, I would say, here. I think the old groundhog saw its shadow, but I would say spring is here in my book. So I don't think we're going to have any more cold problems. Problems of the future? We'll find out when we get there. Okay. That'll be enough for now. Probably more than enough for now. I'll talk to you next time.